big city, big apple, big appetites, and some of the most discerning diners on Earth. Raw fish is all the rage, but the finest sushi only comes from true Japanese masters. But hey, this is New York. You want the finest, choicest, tastiest sushi? You got it. So, how do they do it? "6 a.m., the Long Island coast. This motorboat looks like it could be a pleasure cruiser. In fact, it's a serious fishing boat on the hunt for high-class sushi. With health-conscious eaters all over the world chowing through more and more sushi every day, you might think the fish was caught by the ton. But veteran sushi fisherman Mike Jacobs claims the best quality sushi fish cannot be caught in nets. Instead, Mike and his crew use $500 state-of-the-art carbon fiber rods and reels to catch every fish one by one.
Don't hit the side of the boat. No.
Softly, softly catches sushi.
Oh, Marks. All right, beautiful.
Better than average.
With normal fishing, the catch thrashes about in the net, damaging the skin and flesh, and the blood is left inside, affecting the delicate taste of the fish.
All right, number one, I'm sorry.
Mike uses the Japanese ikejime method to make what he calls a fresh kill. A single incision kills the fish, but doesn't immediately stop the heart pumping. He then makes another cut in the tail to let the blood drain out.
All this is the blood coming out of the fish. Now, from any fine sushi restaurant, they don't want their customers eating this.
A trawler crew landing 2 tons of fish in a single catch couldn't possibly bleed them like this. This level of care is only possible when fish are caught and fresh killed individually.
Beautiful.
And that's why sushi fish like this can cost literally thousands of dollars each.
We don't do one thing 100% better than anybody else, but we do 100 things 1% better. That's the key to true quality.
But sushi fishermen like Mike don't sell direct to restaurants. These valuable fish are destined for a giant fish market in the Big Apple. This is no family fishmonger. The new Fulton Fish Market covers 37,000 square meters of the Bronx.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Known as the New York Stock Exchange of Seafood, it's the oldest fish market in the USA. 5% of America's fish comes through this building. Annual sales exceed $1 billion. From minnows to monsters, they sell 300 varieties of fish from as far away as Japan, Alaska, and Greece. This is a specialist market. The customers are connoisseurs. Nobu Ishida buys for many of New York's top sushi restaurants. When it comes to fish, Nobu really knows his onions.
Not good.
A single southern bluefin tuna can fetch as much as $40,000. That's $40,000 for one fish. It had better be good. Having bought Mike's fish for an undisclosed sum, Mr. Ishida takes it to New York's East Side district and the legendary restaurant Sushi Yasuda, home of a sushi master, Naomichi Yasuda. Yasuda creates some of the best sushi in town. First challenge is to turn whole fresh fish into perfectly proportioned portions, the size of a single mouthful. No problem for these disciples of the blade. Yasuda's boys are the 7 samurai of sushi preparation. They make short shrift of heads, tails, skin and scales. As we all know, sushi fish has got to be really fresh. Well, that's what you think, and that's where you're wrong. According to Master Yasuda, much of the fish we eat as sushi is left for days before it's ready to be served.
This one is already 3 days old.
This is meant to relax the flesh and make it more tender.
Also, this is 3 days old.
Tuna doesn't reach its peak till 4 days after capture. And Yasuda is expert at knowing when fish is just right. When you're paying $4 per mouthful of raw fish, you'd hope it wasn't something they just dragged out of the freezer. But you'd be wrong again, because much of the fish we eat as sushi has to be frozen first to kill off any dangerous parasites. The problem is, fish doesn't retain color and flavor for long in an ordinary freezer. Yasuda's freezer is anything but ordinary. It ticks over at a cool -77, compared to a typical -18 for your freezer at home. At this temperature, the fish doesn't deteriorate at all. When it's thawed, it will be as fresh as the moment it went in.
It doesn't change the color, the same quality.
With a preservation life of 3 years, Mr. Yasuda can ensure that whatever the season, New Yorkers get the best and the safest sushi. And when it comes to the master's creations, New Yorkers can't get enough. Move over, hot dog. Cold fish is in town.